Let's start seated. I'm taking a kneeling posture because I want the belly and I want to be comfortable. So I'm kneeling on my bolster, and Sharon is too. So you can take that one if you like, if the knees are okay today. So letting go of the weekend, letting go of your Monday, back on your mat. And this is yin for the fire element. Hence the yellow color. But let's take our Matangi mudra. Matangi is similar to, sometimes I get complete brain fog. Similar to, see, I'm thinking of Matangi and not the other one. Similar. Anyway, we interlace the fingers and we lift up the middle finger only. So you are like this. And you just rest the heels of the hands together and you draw that Matangi down towards the solar plexus. And the solar plexus sits just above the navel. So finding your Matangi mudra, this is, for our vitality, our energy, our free will, and just to be able to boost our confidence and self-esteem if we should need it. Closing the eyes, softening through the face, relaxing the jaw and the teeth. Breathe out, relax the shoulders down the back, lengthening the spine as you breathe in. Softening into the hips. And if you've chosen that kneeling posture over your bolster, really feel gravity pulling you down. So you can relax the feet, the ankles, the knees, the legs, and the hips. Just taking a few moments here as you breathe in and out of the nostrils, equal length in those inhales and exhales, just to become present. It's always the hardest thing is to just be and quiet the mind. And just take in everything about yourself right in this very moment. How you feel, how your body feels just to kneel here. Noticing your breath, just observing. We don't need to criticize or judge. And whenever we come to the mat to practice, whether that's breath work, meditation, nidra, or asana, we never really want to be a critic to our own selves because we've given up our time and most likely our money to be there for our own well-being. Slow down the breath, taking slower, longer, deep inhales and exhales deep down into the abdomen area, filling the belly. So the belly really fills as you breathe. It's not just the chest, it's not just the lungs. And you can feel the diaphragm, that muscle underneath the rib cage, moving up and down. So as you breathe in and the belly fills, the diaphragm pushes down because the lungs are filling. And as you breathe out, the diaphragm goes back underneath the rib cage as the lungs empty and the abdomen draws back in. So just find those deep belly breaths. And as you breathe here into the abdomen, the diaphragmatic breath, you start to become aware of the heels of your hands connecting energetically to the solar plexus, to the manipura, and stirring your fire within you. And when we work with the fire element, we start to work with the traditional Chinese medicine meridian lines of the heart and the small intestine. They go hand in hand. And the pericardium and the triple burner, a unique energetic concept only found in traditional Chinese medicine. Releasing from the belly breaths, breathing normally as you release the hands, your Matangi mudra, placing the palms face up, just resting on the knees, and just bring some soft and gentle movement back into the fingers, stroking the tips of the fingers against the thumb, stroking the heels of the hands with the fingertips, and then circling through the wrist. Gently open the eyes and circle the wrist the other way, and then gently circle into the shoulders. So nothing has to be forced today. Even though we are bringing in the fire element, it does not have to be a challenge. I want you to find your peace and calm as you hold postures. And let's come to our first posture, which is a wrist extensor stretch. So the wrists, going to start to bring in the pericardium and the triple burner meridian lines as they start in the hands. So if we come to our tabletop position, just sway the hips from side to side, just release through the feet, the ankles as you need to from sitting for a number of minutes. Maybe start to circle the hips forward and backwards. And if you like, of course, your body, your practice, you might wish to introduce some cat and cows. So starting to feel energetically connected here. We want to be able to free the chi running through our body. Provide free circulation coming from the heart down to the digestive system and the metabolism of the small intestine and the triple burner. So wrist extensors, we turn the palms face up towards us. You're going to spread the fingers out as much as you can. If this is particularly deep, and you can bring the knees a little closer so that you can rest back onto the heels. If this is tricky, bring the fingers into the center just a little bit. So instead of the middle finger facing towards you, direct the middle finger in towards the center of the mat. We're staying here for a couple of minutes. So you're drawing down the little fingers, you're drawing down the thumbs, and you're keeping the backs of the hands connected. Feel the openness, the spaciousness of your palm. and the stretch in the front of your wrist. Maybe that stretch continues up through the forearm, up into the elbow. Using your breath to find the stillness as you hold this posture. Almost there. Nearly finished our 2 minutes. We take between 10 and 16 breaths during that minute, depending on how slow you breathe. And nice and slowly start to peel the fingers off. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Do not rush to come out of that one. Come back to seated or kneeling. Flip the palms up. Just feel what it's like to come out of that posture before moving the hands. Good. Now wiggle the fingers, get some movement back. Then you can start to release into the wrist. And that might feel particularly tight. So gently circle. And then you can just give them a little shake out. 2 minutes of a good wrist extensor. So we're actually kind of stretching this part of the wrist. Alrighty. So coming into a squat, and your squat might be a freestanding squat, or you can always use your block for your squat. So I'm going to take a block just to show you here. So bringing the sit bones down, make sure that that's stable and comfortable. We would like to have a nice straight spine. Knees go wide, so the feet are turning out on the outside of your mats. You can bring the hands back into the heart space, pressing the palms together here. So you're actually in a wrist flexor stretch when we've come out. And then close the eyes and just find your squat position here. So lengthening sit bones downwards towards the heels or towards the mat or on the block. This is a great one to help with digestion. Most of our practice today will be the compression and the decompression of the stomach and the heart space and the lungs. So feel here that the belly and the heart space are very much free of compression. Just a few more breaths here. And release the hands down. Just lift the hips. Just come into a little dangle just to release. Bring the toes facing forward. Release through the feet and the ankles and the knees and just sway from side to side. Coming down to seated, caterpillar pose. And the feet and the legs go out in front of you. With caterpillar, you can always sit on a block. And just make sure that the flesh surrounding the sit bones is quite free, sitting nice and tall. We're going to take a fold over. So this is your compression posture. And of course, you can use the blocks or a bolster to support the head and forehead if you don't want to go too deep into the fold, or you can just allow the fold to be nice and free with no props. We are here for a number of minutes, so make sure that you are comfortable before you get into this one. Don't go to your deepest point first of all. Work up to that through gravity and breath. Deep breath. Let go just a little bit more. Breathing out, relaxing tightness and tension through the joints, the muscles, and the connective tissue. And feel yourself going deeper into the posture, but also deeper into your own awareness. Just a few more breaths. Letting go, if you can, to go a little bit deeper. Releasing the head and the neck as much as you can. Soften through the facial expression. And slowly starting to unroll through the spine, walking the hands back. You're going to keep the chin in towards the chest until the shoulders come back up in line with the hips and the spine starts to lengthen. And then you can start to release the head as you unravel the neck. Sitting nice and tall, just take a few moments to feel all of that blood and nourishment flow to all of the digestive organs. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out, and swing the legs around behind you. Your choice here. Next posture is eagle arms. So you can take your bolster and you can kneel on your bolster if you like, or you can just kneel. So eagle arms, the right arm crosses over the left at the elbow. You can bring the backs of the hands together if that suits, or you might wish to do the double wrap. So bringing the left hand on the inside of the right palm. Start to lift the elbows up and the shoulders down, looking towards the back of the wrists or closing the eyes. Fingertips point towards the ceiling and soften as much as you can in the shoulders, the shoulder blades, lengthening the spine. Keep breathing to work within the posture, reminding yourself that the inhale breath would lift the elbows just a little bit more, and the exhale breath would drop the shoulders away from the ears just a little bit more. So you're feeling the neck lengthening, the face is relaxed, the arms are reaching up, you have a long spine, and you're comfortable. Nice and slowly unravel the arms, reach them out to the side. Big, big stretch, flexing through the palms, pointing the fingers downwards. Again, wrist flexor, wrist extensors, 2 or 3 times, and circle the shoulders. Take a moment's rest before coming to the other side. Bring the hands to the knees, palms face up. And just notice when you've done that eagle pose, where the target areas do you feel it within, but then where do you feel it when you come out? And each side is going to feel different, so try and find the balance if you can. Reaching the arms out to the side, crossing the left over the right at the elbow, and then either the backs of the hands meet or you double wrap. Lifting the elbows up in line with the chin, drawing the shoulders down, lengthening the spine, reaching the fingers up towards the sky, closing the eyes, or taking a soft gaze at the back of the wrists. Lifting the elbows up in line with the shoulders. Feel where the target areas come for you. They might be different for everybody. Try to drop as much as you can into the lower body. That area is completely soft and relaxed, non-functioning. You're just working with the upper body, shoulders, upper back. Slowly release and unravel the eagle arms. Reach the arms out, just flex and extend, and then circle the shoulders. Woo! Can certainly feel that one. And palms just face up on the knees. I don't know about you, about your target areas, but I certainly feel it down the outer arm, down here, into the outer shoulder. Yeah. So let's slide that bolster away. We're going to come all the way down onto our bellies for Sphinx pose. So bringing the head to the back of the hands, and you can bring the big toes to touch and just sway out through the hips here as you come down onto the mat, relaxing into the belly, reminding ourselves that, we're working with the heart, the small intestine through a lot of the postures today to give us better circulation, better digestion, and better and improved metabolism. So let's come into Sphinx pose, maybe widening the feet. The tops of the feet press into the mat and the arms come out in front of you. So the elbows may be underneath the shoulders, or they may be a little bit forward of the shoulders. Fingertips are facing right out in front of you and the palms are nicely spread. The shoulders aren't sinking up towards the ears and the neck isn't sinking in towards the collarbones. You're pressing away from the mat to keep that length down the neck, opening up the chest, dropping through the pelvis, relaxing into the legs. The closer that the feet are together, the more challenging this will be for you in the lower back, most likely. But you can play with the feet as long as they're not turning outwards from the hip and they are nicely parallel to the pelvis. Relaxing into the belly, but you finding those diaphragmatic breaths. So reminding yourself of that diaphragm moving up and down as you breathe in and out. each exhale, dropping the weight a little bit more through the pelvis and the legs, and each inhale, pressing away a little bit more, lifting up through the upper body. Finding a steady breath. Nice and slowly widen the elbows as you roll down through the belly, through the rib cage. Bring the head to the back of the hands, big toes touch, relax everything. Sway the hips a little bit from side to side and start to press up through the palms, underneath the shoulders, back into a tabletop position. Sway the hips maybe around of your cat and cow. See if you've released a little bit through the spine since we've been practicing. And then release back to the heels, and let's come into deer pose. So right leg comes out in front. And you would like to have a nice little square in front of you. So you've got a 90-degree bend into the knee here. And maybe this back leg is out to the side. Maybe it's close to the body. It's how you feel. So just drop both sit bones down if you can. That's it. Perfect. And then we're going to start to twist the torso, lifting up the back hip. The leg may move then. And then you're going to start to bring the belly all the way over your right thigh. And you can use the bolster if you've got that handy to lie down on. Or maybe you just meet the mat or a block. So again, options for you are using the props should you need to fill the space between you and the earth. You really want to have some freedom through the belly. So really getting it out of the way of the thigh if you can, really finding a nice little twist. And just notice where your target areas are here. Maybe you are feeling it in the right underneath outer hip, in the glute. Maybe you're feeling it in the twist of the spine or the torso. Maybe you're feeling it in the inner groin. But wherever you are feeling it in your target areas, don't make sure that it's not a place of pain and discomfort. You can find challenge here and you can stay for a couple of minutes. Continuing to let go with each exhale breath. Finding even more gravity, softening and surrendering everything in the pose. And to come out of the posture, start to walk the fingers back towards the body as you roll up. And then just lift the knees and take it straight to the other side. So as you come to the other side, you start to feel that back leg releasing. And just again, find that place where you can start off with both sit bones resting down on the mat. And then start to lift up the back hip. That's when the back leg might release. So you're in a deer or a stag pose, twisting the belly and then releasing over the opposite leg. So just noticing from side to side, right to left. Maybe you notice some differences. How do you approach them? How do you respond? Just a few breaths here to let go just a little bit more as you find even more gravity, even more release. And starting to come out of the posture by lifting the head, walking the hands back towards the body and rolling up through the spine. Bring the legs out in front of you and just give yourself a little bit of a hug. Resting the chest, the belly over the thighs, relax the head down towards the knees, soften the shoulders, taking hold of the ankles. Rolling up through the spine, let's come back down into prone position for bow tie. So bow tie, the right arm crosses out in front of us. So when we're lying down, your head can be on a block or on a blanket here or a cushion. If both arms is too much underneath the body, just use one and place the left arm out in front of you. So I'll show you when we're in that prone position. Right arm is in front, left arm is closest to the body. And as I say, you can use a blanket or a bolster, a blanket or a block here to rest the head on. If it's too much with both arms, keep the right arm there and place the left arm out in front of you. Soften through the legs as much as you can here. And if you find that you get a little bit of pins and needles or tingling into the fingertips, give them a wiggle. Clench and release your fists a bit. And to come out of the posture, just lift the head. Lengthen the spine. Release the arms down by the side of you. Palms face up by the hips. Turn to the right cheek. Coming to the other side, left arm is at the front, right arm is closest to the body. And if that's again too much for you, you can always just use one arm. Use the left arm underneath the body and the right arm in front. And you may notice instantly that one side feels a lot different than the other. Trying to drop as much weight as you can into the shoulders and the back. And just notice where you feel this. Breathe. If those fingers become a little bit numb, just Clench the fists and wiggle the fingers. It's only 2 minutes on each side. Starting to come out of the posture, lifting the head, lengthening the spine, releasing the arms down the side of the body nice and carefully, palms face up. Turn to the left cheek. And it's not always about what it feels like within the posture. It's also very important to observe when you come out how the feelings and sensations are there as well. It's this compression and decompression in postures, and this release of oxygen and blood through the body. Starting to bring the hands underneath the shoulders, or you can simply roll over onto your back from there. So it depends on which way you want to face on your mat. Coming down onto your back, always a nice feeling, isn't it, when we turn over from something that's been so kind of restrictive, and then you can release the arms out to the side, you can relax the legs and give yourself a little shimmy out and just feel what the body's, saying to you now, all these messages that the body sends to our brain. So draw the knees in towards the chest. Leave a little bit of a space there so that the belly is nice and free, and you can just hold onto the shins or the knees and just rock from side to side. So you can release a little bit through the spine in this knees to chest, but we're not compressing the belly there. So I want you to feel the entire back body, back of the heart space, between the shoulder blades, all the spine connecting, the sides of your waist and the back extensors, also the sacrum and the pelvis. So next posture might not be for everybody, but see where you get to with it. It is a supported snail or a snail. So having your bolster, pulling that around and underneath your spine. You're going to bring your bolster all the way up as close as you can to your shoulders. And then you're going to lift. I'm right at the back of my mat. Let me come forward just a little bit. And snail pose is where the knees come up to the forehead, so you can pull the bolster underneath you even more. So, and you can just lift the feet up. And this is a compression, trying to keep the knees together, relaxing the thighs down,
And you can take the hands out to the side or maybe in cactus back behind you. So if you're going to take it into full snail, maybe support the spine, knees come to the forehead. We're not here for long. I want you to feel that compression, making sure that you find the breath. Trying to let the legs drop even closer towards the forehead. If it's comfortable for you, is an inversion. The head is below, is above the heart this time. No, the head is below the heart. That's what I wanted to say. And gently come out, unravel. Start to breathe a little bit better. And then you can just release the feet down, maybe supported, bridge, dropping through your pelvis there. Take the bolster away and roll down through the spine all the way to the mat. And again, take that moment of full extension and expansion, arms and legs out to the side so that you can fully appreciate all of that oxygen, blood, and nourishment going down to the digestive organs, into the lungs, into the heart. So as I say, snail isn't for everybody. Not everybody can get their knees up towards their forehead. That's why the bolster helps to support you underneath. So let's come into a lying spinal twist. And you can use your bolster for this one if you like. Taking your bolster on the right-hand side of you. We're going to roll over onto our right hip and the left leg comes across, and make sure the leg is full on the bolster so your knee and your ankle and foot are supported. And if you're not using the bolster, that's okay. The leg might come down to the mat. And then opening up the chest to the side, arms come out to the side at shoulder height, palms face up. Take the gaze up towards the sky for a moment. If you wish to, you can extend the gaze to the left hand. All are options. Trying to get both shoulder blades grounded. So you're going to start to pull down the left shoulder blade. Pulling down the left shoulder. Notice where the target areas come for this posture. And soften everything, including that underneath leg. Quite often, it takes its own tension without you realizing. So soften the hip, relax the thighs, relax the inner thighs of the underneath right leg. Breathing in and out of the belly, diaphragmatic breath. And bring yourself back into center by releasing the left leg away from the bolster. Take a moment just to realign. So make sure that you shift the hips and pelvis. Maybe the soles of the feet come to the mat. Knees just rest in towards one another in the rest pose. And then slowly shifting that bolster over to the other side. Quite heavy, I know. Making sure that your right leg rests all on the bolster, so the knee and the foot are supported. And then opening up the chest, drawing both shoulder blades down, opening up the arms, palms face up. Soften and relax into the underneath left leg this time. The top leg can just be heavy. Find those deep diaphragmatic breaths. Long and slow, focus on your breathing. And slowly breathing in, releasing the right leg back into the center. Bring the soles of the feet down, realign hips and spine, shoulder blades. Take the feet wide, drop the knees gently towards one another, and bring the hands and just place them onto your belly. So you might just kind of rest it on the upper belly, just above the navel, and just feel now as you breathe into the palms of your hands. Breathing in, filling, breathing out, emptying. Our practice may have brought some challenge for your fire element, but it was also to improve your metabolism, your digestion, your circulation through the traditional Chinese medicine meridian lines. So feel now that the qi is flowing freely as you breathe, and the energy is moving around the body. No blockages. Preparing the mind and body for your Shavasana as you heel toe the feet into parallel. Draw the knees in, release the hands from the body, taking to the top of the shins and rolling from side to side, making sure you're comfortable and warm, using props as you need to, so you can always use those bolsters that you've got by the side of you underneath the knees. Use blocks underneath the head. If you've got eye pillows handy, you can always use those, or just simply close the eyes. But lift up and round the shoulder blades so that you can feel the center of your spine really connecting, and the shoulder blades are nicely spread out. Hands come to the outer edges of your mat with the palms face up. The feet are to the outer edges of your mat with relaxed toes and relaxed ankles. Closing the eyes if you feel comfortable. Softening the forehead. Relaxing the temples on the skull. Releasing tension into the jaw. Unclenching teeth. Letting the tongue rest on the roof of your mouth as you breathe in and out of your nostrils. And the breath flows down into the heart, into the pericardium, into the lungs, into the digestive organs, softening through the hips and the legs. I'll leave you for a few moments of silence.
Beginning to take a few deeper breaths now, bringing your awareness back to your surroundings, back onto your mat, that sacred space, and back into the body, wiggling fingers, toes. Choosing to stretch or drawing the knees in and starting to get a little bit more movement as you gradually roll out through the spine, and never rush to come back up to seated. You can return to kneeling on your bolster if you like. And I've just remembered the name of the mudra, which is Anjali Mudra. Bringing the palms into the heart center. The thumbs just rest against the sternum, dropping the head down, relaxing through the neck and the shoulders. Taking this moment to just complete your practice mentally, physically, and emotionally of being present, not rushing back into your day, but reminding yourself why you came to practice and what the benefits are that you receive. And always thanking yourself, being grateful for your body that you have, your breath and your focus to stay present in yin postures. And I thank you. Namaste.